Warning, this podcast may be disturbing to some listeners. Due to the graphic nature, listener discretion is advised. Welcome from wherever you are. This is the Demon Inside podcast. I am your host, John Benham. If you would like to review another episode of the Demon Inside, you can go to Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and any podcast platform. And please, don't forget to subscribe and rate us with 5 stars. A new episode will come out once a week. We will be right back after a word from our sponsors. And welcome back to the Demon Inside.
New tonight, dark tinted windows cover the face of a father accused of killing his own toddler. We were there as Blair Ness was brought to jail from the hospital. News 8's Monica Hernandez joins us from the Louisville jail. And Monica, what have you learned about this suspect?
Well, we know he is now here in the Louisville Police Department inside the jail. Investigators say they are interviewing him right now, but they say so far he is silent. However, they also say they will never forget his words to them on Sunday when they say he told them, quote, "I know everyone's mad. I'm mad. I killed my son."
Yes, there's somebody killing a little kid out here in Oak Forest apartment right now. Somebody needs to get out here right now. Somebody is killing their little kid right now.
What do you mean by that? What are you seeing?
They slammed the kid on the ground and stabbing their baby out here in the middle of the
They're stabbing their baby?
They're stabbing their baby right now in the middle of the complex, right now.
The first 911 call was answered by an operator who simply can't believe what she is hearing. It's part of a flurry of frantic 911 calls, while neighbors say they watched a man stab his toddler in the lawn of his Louisville apartment complex. Police say that man is 27-year-old Blair Ness. They just released his mugshot. He's now charged with capital murder. We watched as a patrol car took him to jail from the hospital this afternoon. A neighbor took this video on Sunday of police dragging Ness away after another neighbor shot him in the leg to try to stop him. Police say he used kitchen knives and scissors, started stabbing his son inside his home before taking his body outside, while neighbors, even small children, watched. Police say Ness's home was covered with blood and smelled like marijuana. We're also learning more about the sweet little boy who's now gone. On their GoFundMe page, the family says little Ashton Ness lit up a room. So far, they've raised more than $15,000 for funeral expenses and for Ashton's mom, who is enduring the pain of losing her son while she was at work. It's pain shaking the entire community.
There's a lot of anger, there's a lot of upset people that are. We want to make sure that the reason we didn't release his name up until this point is he was in a public hospital, and we had a few officers standing next to him, but we did not want to disrupt the normal services of the hospital, and we wanted to get him here into this secure environment before we released his name.
Police are looking into whether Ness is linked to a sexual assault arrest that resulted in a SWAT standoff in New Mexico in 2013. Ness's bond in this case has been set at $1.5 million. CPS says Ashton was an only child. They say they have no prior record of involvement with this family or at that apartment. And as I mentioned, the community really shaken by this. There is a vigil planned Thursday night at 7:30 here in Louisville, and we are expecting a lot of community members and family members to be there. Live in Louisville, I'm Monica Hernandez, Channel 8 News.
All right, Monica.
Hello, my Demon Insiders, and welcome back to the Demon Inside. I'm your host, John Benham, and today we will be doing the Demon Inside Blair Ness. Now, this happened here in Texas, which is my home state, and I didn't even hear about this. This happened in 2018, and this was similar to 2 other cases that I've done before. So Blair Ness, at the time of the killing, he was 27 years old, and he had a 16-month-old son. On August 14th of 2018, he posted on Facebook, and he has a picture of himself with his girlfriend and their child, and it looks like they're hiking. They're on a big boulder, and there's woods behind them. And he writes this, and I quote, "The start of something beautiful. I love my family. Man, do we have a strong bond. Let's all stand strong in Jesus Christ, because it's so much better than magical. I love you guys so much." End quote. So this was on August 14th. 5 days later is when he commits this heinous crime, and we'll get into that. But before we do that, what caught my eye was this whole magical thing. Because there's a lot of people that wouldn't use the word magical. They would say probably something like, our relationship is so magical. But he's saying that Jesus Christ and God are more than the magic. So I started looking and scrolling through his Facebook, and I found a post he did, and this was back in 2014, I believe. And this was way before he even met his girlfriend and before they had the baby. So he said, and I quote, "I do believe in magic. I was born and raised at a magic time, in a magic town, among magicians. Most everybody else didn't realize we lived in that web of magic, connected by the silver filaments of chance and circumstance. But I knew it all along. This is my opinion. We all start out knowing magic. We are born with whirlwinds, forest fires, and comets inside us. We are born able to sing to birds and rake clouds and see our destiny in grains of sand. But when we get to the magic educated right out of us, right out of our souls, we get it churched out, spanked out, washed out, and combed out. We get put out on the straight and narrow and told to be responsible, told to act our age. And you know why we were told that? Because the people doing the telling were afraid of our wildness in youth, and because the magic we knew made them ashamed and sad of what they'd allowed to wither in themselves. After you go so far away from it, you can't really get it back. You can have seconds of it, just seconds, of knowing and remembering. You step beyond who you are and where you are. For the briefest of instants, you have stepped into the magic realm. That's what I believe." End quote. For me, this, and I could be wrong, I mean, I don't know, because he doesn't have a lot on Facebook. All he has on Facebook is some lyrics. For all I know, these could be lyrics. This might not even be his own words. It doesn't sound like a song, so that's why I kind of took to it. But for me, it sounds like whenever we hear about children seeing angels or seeing ghosts, we're like, oh, most people are saying that a child is more intuitive, a child is more open to it. That's what he sounds like he's talking about when he's talking about magic. So for me, this whole magic thing could be him seeing angels and other things and trying to keep an open mind about it. Now, I don't know that for sure, but that's what it sounds like. So let's continue. On Sunday, it was a Sunday, the 19th of August, 2018, at 12:40 hours, which is in the afternoon, officers were dispatched to Oak Forest Apartments. Now, this was in Louisville, which is in Texas, Denton County. This guy, according to people that had seen him, they said he walked out with his son over his shoulder, slammed him on the cement floor, and started stabbing him. Now, while he was stabbing him, he started saying that Jesus Christ was coming. He also was telling people to come near him, to come over to him, to come and look. Well, people were shocked. And so one of the tenants that lived upstairs took out his gun, came back to the balcony. He saw that this guy had left the child, but was walking back towards him. So this guy shot him 3 times and hit him once in the leg where he fell down. When the police get there, and I'm going to read this from the police file. Officers arrived on scene at about 12:43 hours and located the victim, who was identified as being a 16-month-old male. Officers also located the suspect, who was near a patio in Building 15. While officers were attempting to take the suspect into custody, the suspect refused commands and was tased. The suspect was later identified as Blair Ness by his Texas identification. While being placed in handcuffs, Ness was asking officers to contact his mother as well as his girlfriend, Alex. Ness made a statement to officers, and I quote, "I know everyone's mad. I'm mad. I killed my son." End quote. So while the police are waiting, after they take the child, they take him to the hospital, but the other police are waiting on a warrant. But while they're waiting for the warrant, his girlfriend, Alex Murphy, comes home. Now, she starts telling the police that she had left at about 10 in the morning to go to work, and that when she left, Ness and Ashton, the baby, were fine. Murphy said that Ness was feeding Ashton as she left. Murphy was asked for any reasoning that Ness would want to harm her son, and she said that she couldn't think of any reason. Now listen to this. Murphy said that Ness had recently been reading the Bible a lot lately, and that they had been attending church services. There was members of the family that were interviewed by the Dallas newspaper. The family member said that Blair, and I quote, left the earth sometime in the last few weeks as he opened a door to allow demons to enter into his body, unquote. Now, he did not have any mental illness, and he was not a violent person. That came from his family, and they were very shocked of this vicious act. But they had been saying in weeks prior that he had been watching a lot of YouTube videos about Satan. I don't know if that's true or not. But I did find a friend of his. This guy's name is Richard, and I hope Richard doesn't mind me reading this, but he says, and I quote, "I'll tell you why Blair found religion a few weeks ago. He got into YouTube videos of Old Testaments. Every word out of his mouth was about God and our Lord. The details of the stabbings are too gruesome to mention. I've known Blair for 4 years now. I knew his son, Ashton, and was there the day he was born. There was no signs of violence. We had no clue he would harm that child. When I see Blair last Thursday, he was his happy-go-lucky self, still talking about God and Jesus. We are in shock. We are in tears. Rest in peace, Ashton. We will always love you, and we are sorry we didn't see this one coming." End quote. I believe that Blair had seen something, and he got to the point where he was scared and started reading the Bible a lot, according to people, and he started going to church. Now, he stabbed his son with scissors as well as knives. Now, you know what I like to do on this show is I try to find common things that happen between people. So I started looking up parents that killed their kids, and I started finding a pattern, and I don't know if this pattern's right or not, because there's a few things that are off, but I'm going to read it anyway. Here are the following things that I found. In July of 2017, in Georgia, Isabel Martinez. Now, if you remember, I did a show about Isabel Martinez, and she's the one that stabbed her kids and her husband, and one of the kids lived. So if you haven't heard that, I would suggest going back and listening to it. Now, she also used scissors as well as knives. On October 21st of 2019, Nevada was Claudia N. Rodriguez, which I did a show on. She had stabbed her son over and over and over again, and luckily he lived. Then we come to December 7th, 2020, in Alabama, Curtis Woods, who stabbed his daughter, which she was 2 years old. And so I started looking at the dates, and each of these months are 31 days. And each month, or each year it happens, it adds a month. So we're talking, the first time it happens, it's a year. Then the second time is a year and a month. Next time is a year and 2 months, and so on, a year and 3 months. And I thought that was kind of weird because it's a pattern for me. Now, there's another pattern that I kind of didn't see until later, which Isabel Martinez was in 2017, Blair Ness was in 2018, Claudia N. Rodriguez was 2019, and Curtis Woods was 2020. Now, what I found is that it's girl, boy, girl, boy. And I know that sounds kind of weird. So what I started doing was I started going back in the years 2016 all the way down to 2007. And I started finding every year it was a female. First year was a female in 2007. I didn't go any further back because it really freaked me out, guys, to be honest with you. In 2007 in Georgia, there was Jeanette M. House, who stabbed her kid, and the next one was 2008 in Illinois, Miguel Villarreal, who stabbed his kid. 2009, Massachusetts, Susan Johnson stabbed her kid, and it goes on and on and on. And not only that, but it's from that point in 2007 all the way up to 2020 is boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl. Now, because of so many years, I lose the pattern of the dates and also the murder weapons, because I was trying to find parents that killed their kids with scissors. Now, the four, like I said, that I did find, if you go from Georgia, which was Atlanta, Georgia, Louisville, Texas, Las Vegas, Nevada, and then to Mobile, Alabama, I did a map on Google Maps, and you could do the same thing. And there's a highway that connects all of those together. So if I was a truck driver, I could follow Highway 20, and I would be in all four of those places, all four of those cities. To me, that's a little more than coincidental. That's a demon that's jumping into maybe truck drivers. I don't know. Maybe there's more out there that I'm not seeing. A lot of these people that we've done shows on, like Claudia Nadia Rodriguez, her child survived, so there's not a lot about it on the news. But when you kill somebody like Isabel Martinez and Blair Ness, now, here's the thing also. Claudia was found naked and she was attacking her kid, and they shot her and killed her. Blair was talking about religion. He was saying that they were coming, that Jesus was coming. As a matter of fact, Edward Carranza says he saw a man holding a child and standing in a big pool of blood. He said he had an evil look. The look that he had in his eyes was not a normal look. He also says that he was trying to get people to come toward him, screaming, "Come on," repeatedly to get people's attention. So the look in his eye wasn't a normal look. Could it have been a demon? It sure could have. This sounds like a demonic presence in a person. How do you go saying that this is the best thing ever, a family, and then 5 days later you're slamming your child's head to the ground and stabbing him over and over and over again? Now, he had stabbed him in the apartment as well, so why take him out into the courtyard to show people? On this show, like I tell people, I try to find a connection, and sometimes I try to find the demon. And that's the hard part, because demons are very hard to find. So I started looking it up after one of my true demon insiders, Erin, told me. She said, "So what demon do you think it is?" I said, "That's a good question." I said, "It's a parent who's killing a child." And believe it or not, I actually found a demon that allows parents to kill their child as a sacrifice to him. This is the deity called Malak. Now, Malak is actually in the Bible several times, and it's traditionally the name that refers to a Canaanite god. Since the medieval period, Malak has often been portrayed as a bull-headed idol with outstretched hands over a fire. This depiction takes the brief mentions of Malak in the Bible and combines them with various sources, including ancient accounts of Carthaginian child sacrifice and the legend of the Minotaur. Guys, before 1935, all the scholars held that Malak was a pagan deity to whom child sacrifice was offered at the Jerusalem Tophet. So do you think this Malak is killing these kids as a sacrifice to himself? Or could this be a demon that is sacrificing these children for Malak? All we know right now is that demons are killing kids, and it needs to stop. And us as parents need to fight whatever is in our head, whether you think it's psychological, spiritual, or just evil as hell. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll talk to y'all next week. Don't forget to subscribe to the Demon Inside podcast on any podcast platform. A new episode of the Demon Inside will be released every week. Let us know what you think of the episode on all our social media platforms. If you have any questions or comments, go to the Demon Inside podcast at gmail.com or click on the link down below. We would love to hear from you. And to become a Demon Insider, go to our website, thedemoninsidepodcast.com. We thank you for listening and hope you will join us next week for a new Demon Inside podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please tell your friends. I am John Venom, and I'll see you next time, if I don't get possessed. The Demon Inside was written and created by James Porter. It is a production of Venomous Entertainment. Background music is by Lucas King. And the title song, Demon Inside, was produced by Rice Pulver, composer lyricist Peter Shelley, and performed by Conjure One.